Calgary is a city in Alberta, which is the second most westerly province in Canada. Here are some general statistics about Calgary and Alberta. The province of British Columbia is found to the west. The province of Saskatchewan is found to the east. The Northwest Territories is located north of Alberta, and Montana, United States, is located to the south. Alberta's southern boundary is located on the 49th parallel north, and its northern boundary is located on the 60th parallel. Both Alberta and Saskatchewan became provinces in 1905. Calgary is located at 51.04 degrees north and 114.07 degrees west. Calgary was incorporated in 1884 as the first town in what is now known as the province of Alberta. The Canadian Pacific Railway reached Calgary in 1883. Not surprisingly, the town was settled near the Bow and Elbow rivers. Evidence of humans in the Calgary area date back about 12,000 years based on spear points found in the area. Starting 12,000 years ago to 2,000 years ago, habitation was largely the result of nomadic hunters. About 2,000 years ago, the Blackfoot people settled in the Calgary area. The Tsuut'ina came from the north and settled in the area in the 1700s. Shortly after, the Stoney Nakoda, who moved west from Manitoba, also settled in the region. In the 1700s, European explorers ventured into the region looking for new areas to expand the fur trade. Bison hunters and whiskey traders from the United States appeared in the 1860s and traded with the indigenous people. In the year 1891, Calgary's population was only 3,876 people. By 1906, the population tripled to 11,967. By 1911, the population almost quadrupled to 43,704. After that, the growth rate slowed down but continued at a consistent increase until the 1950s, where another rapid growth increase was observed. In 1946, the population broke the 100,000 mark and sat at 100,044. Starting in 1951, where Calgary's population was 129,060, the population grew about 50,000 to 70,000 people every 5 years. In the late 1970s, Calgary's population reached the 500,000 mark. Between 1976 and 1981, Calgary experienced the largest total population growth to date, increasing from 469,917 to 592,743 people. By the time the 1988 Winter Olympics was held in February of that year, Calgary's population was sitting around 657,000 people. Calgary's population continued to grow and reached 1 million people in 2007. In 2022, Calgary's population reached 1.4 million people, which means that in 31 years, the population doubled from the 700,000 inhabitants in 1991. In 2025, Calgary's population is projected to be about 1.6 million people. By the year 2030, Calgary's population is projected to be about 1.8 million people. And by the year 2040, Calgary's population is projected to be an astounding 2.2 million people. The population growth is visualized in the following graph. The distance from Calgary to the Montana-US border by highway at Coutts, Alberta is about 300 kilometers or about 3 hours by car. The distance from Calgary to Edmonton, Alberta to the north, Alberta's capital city, via the QE2 highway is also about 300 kilometers away and takes about 3 hours by car. To go west to Banff from Calgary, the distance is about 125 kilometers and will take about 1 hour and 20 minutes. From there, it's about another 40 kilometers or half an hour through the mountains to the BC border at the Continental Divide. To go to Invermere, BC, a popular tourist town, it will take you about another hour and 15 minutes. To go east from Calgary across the border to Kindersley, Saskatchewan, the distance is about 400 kilometers and will take about 4 hours. Historically, the three main industries in Alberta have been oil and gas, agriculture, and tourism. Of course, Calgary is located close to Banff, so it's home base of many travelers heading to the mountain parks. It is also home to the Calgary Stampede, which takes place over a 10-day period at the start of every July. Each year it attracts well over 1 million attendees. The Stampede officially starts each year with a 2-hour, 4.5-kilometer parade, which is one of the largest parades in North America. The Stampede has been running since 1912, making it one of North America's oldest annual fairs. However, in the past few decades, technology companies have grown to play an increasing role in the city's base of businesses. Calgary is home to over 100 head offices, about 70% of which are oil and gas related. Calgary is also the home of 2 universities, the University of Calgary and Mount Royal University, as well as 2 large colleges, the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, or SAIT, and the Bow Valley College, which focuses on business. I have to start this category once again with the mountains and mountain parks. In addition to Banff and Lake Louise, there are several other parks within a 2-hour drive of Calgary. These include Bow Valley and Peter Lougheed Provincial Parks to the west, Dinosaur and Kinbrook Island Provincial Parks to the east, and Little Bow and Chain Lakes Provincial Parks to the south. Even further south you can find Writing on Stone Provincial Park and Waterton Lakes National Park in the mountains. Fish Creek Provincial Park can be found within the Calgary city limits. One of North America's largest zoos is located near downtown in Calgary's River Valley. The zoo was founded almost 100 years ago in 1929 and is Canada's most visited zoo. Heritage Park, a historic village which opened first on July 1st, 1964, has a purpose to connect people with the history of the early West. The park's exhibits showcase history spanning the fur trade of the 1860s to the automobile-dominated landscape of the 1950s. Other attractions in Calgary include a ski hill used in the 1988 Winter Olympics, a science center, the Calgary Tower, an observation tower built in downtown Calgary in 1968 to celebrate Canada's centennial, military museums, and Canada's National Music Centre. There are also numerous parks and green areas located throughout Calgary, notably Princess Island Park and Riley Park in the downtown area, Nose Hill Park in the north, and Glenmore Park in the south. These are only a few of the dozens of parks scattered across the city. Calgary is also home to national hockey, football, and lacrosse teams. The growth of the city of Calgary over the past century plus is truly impressive. Since I first started attending Ramsey Elementary School in the 1970s, Calgary's population has quadrupled. New high-rises have reshaped the downtown skyline over the past half-century. The city's boundaries have expanded in almost every direction. A ring road now connects all 4 quadrants of the city. A new multi-purpose stadium is being built to replace and augment the Saddle Dome, which has been one of Calgary's most well-known landmarks the past 40 years. The new stadium will be the 3rd building, which the NHL Flames will call their home stadium since the team was brought to Calgary in 1980. It's hard to imagine what the city will look like with 2.5 or 3 million people, but it's a place that has experienced almost constant transition for so long that its citizens will be up to the challenge. It's part of the way of life here.